Previous discussion, we were talking about a microcomputer and its components. So very first thing we mentioned that there was an central processing unit, which it is going to contain the control unit and arithmetic logic unit. Then we talked about memory, which it is consisting of the read-only memory and the random access memory. Yeah. Then we talked about ports, and there we connected an input device and an output device. Then we mentioned about address bus, which will be a unidirectional. Then we talked about control bus. Control bus, which is bidirectional. Then we talked about data bus, again, which is also bidirectional. So this was the overall architecture, overall glimpse we had about a microcomputer. If there is a microprocessor inside a computer, then it is called as a microcomputer. Simple definition. If there is a microprocessor, micro stands for mu. So if there is a microprocessor as a chip, if there is a microprocessor as a chip, then we are going to say it is a microcomputer. And microcomputer, microprocessor, both are going to be the interchangeable terms. So this was the first aspect, a takeaway to be happened. Next one. We were mentioning CPU as a chip. It is containing of control unit and it is consisting of arithmetic logic unit. This is the basic information. Fine. Now let us bounce back to a real-time case study which was taken up, and let us look into some of the components what you are aware or what you have seen in the labs in a day-to-day life. So this PPT was taken up to demonstrate the regular lab computer, but more or less the same components in different sizes will be to the laptop. Fine. Now you can see this was the cabinet because why I am putting this PPT, because this is the only subject you should understand about hardware. No other subject you will learn about hardware. So sometime you have to give to understand the underlying hardware. So microprocessor is the only hardware subject which you should understand what is going on in the low level. So that is the reason why some interesting or may not be interesting, I can't configure right now, but this has to be digested and understood the real-time facts. Either in a laptop or either in a desktop, the component which will take up will be the motherboard, the component which will look holistically with the different components. You call it as a motherboard. So this is first word you should understand. So motherboard is a circuitry where we have to arrange our central processing unit, our random access memories, our input output ports, etc. So now let us look what is this component, where we are using the random access memory, what is BIOS, where is the central processing unit, what is NORTH gate, what is South gate, where are ROM chips, where are RAM chips, etc. So theoretically, we are learning RAM, ROM, CPU, etc. But let us see what is the component and where exactly it is placed in the computer or in a laptop. So the architecture will be same, the components will be same, only the circuitry design will vary from a laptop to a desktop. So now you can see it was written as Intel Pentium 4. It was written as Intel Pentium 4, and it is working with 1.6 gigahertz speed, and that is what it is written here. You can see the barcode, etc., the QR code, etc. So the CPU, what the PPT was addressing was Pentium 4. Next thing, how many instructions per second it is going to execute? It is going to be given up. We call that one as clock speed. So in the mobile, you have multiple apps, and all those apps has to be simultaneously executed. So within fraction of seconds. So you are giving an email, within next second I am going to receive. How is it done? How much accurate the hardware devices are functioning? That is taken up with the clock speed. So you will get bored if the clock speed was not synced, right? So these are the thing. And cache we are going to call here as a temporary storage memory. We have L2 cache and we have L1 caches. So they are going to say they are temporary memory and they are high speed memory, which works more faster than the main memory. How much power it is going to consume? So 1.75 volts of power, almost negligible power it is taking to work. Next thing was we do have this cache memory, which is called as L1 cache and L2 cache inside the chip, and these are the different pins. So every pin is going to have its function. Every function will have a function. That means one will be power supply, and it will be on or off. Another it will be to a ground. So in our house also we have the fuse main. Then below the main, for every house we will have a earth wire. Why? Because we should not get current shocks, etc. Similarly, every chip will have a power supply and it will have some ground. So every pin has its own importance. Now, this is an advanced architecture. We can't understand about all it is going up, but our 8086 microprocessor was 40 pin. We will discuss in detail all the 40 pins, what they will do, whether they do address reading, whether they do data reading, everything we will discuss. Now this is the slot position where we have to insert up the chip. So these are the slot positions where we are going to insert the chips. How we can insert the chip, etc. So you can see this position even in the mobile phone also. When you are putting your memory card, when you are putting your SIM card in the mobile, they will give you face. You have to put the face in this direction. This is the position where you have to insert the SIM card or a mobile card. Similarly, you have to plug up the uh, microprocessor chip into the socket. So how the pins, where the pins has to be clipped, so the joining positions, everything will be known here at this case. Yeah. Okay. So sometimes when we are using a laptop, we move from here and there. And similarly, even a desktop also, we will shake the desktop and move from one position to another position. So obviously, pin may be disconnected. So to see that that doesn't happen, we are going to have some locking, a lock mechanism. We call it as a locking lever in at this point. Next one. You are aware that in our college or in everywhere, so server rooms, they will they are put in air conditioner. So now we don't give up the power supply, I mean, for the AC connection. But in general, your labs are with the air conditioner. The reason was C along with that, it is going to have some fan position, etc. So this is the first takeaway. So every CPU has to be cooled because it is getting some voltage supply, and that voltage supply was very high, so that it should be neutralized. So we do have this CPU heatsink fan. So on the motherboard, we were talking about the position where we are going to insert the microprocessor, the central processing unit. And after that, we are going to create a locking mechanism. And above this, we are going to put the fan. So this is the ideology, how the chip will look like. So up to now, we talked about the central processing unit. Next one, what we can look was the random access memory. So random access memory, we are going to call it as a volatile memory. And then random access memory, it is of synchronous dynamic RAM, and it is of dual double rate RAM. It is of SDRAM or dual double rate RAM. So when we are purchasing our laptop or a mobile, the first two conditions, when I'm telling it is a mobile, what the two conditions is it a octa-core processor, you will ask. Second thing, they will tell you, yeah, this is a 8 GB RAM mobile phone, this is 16 GB RAM mobile phone, and they will tell this is 32 GB ROM. So these are the three factors every person will talk when they are purchasing a mobile. One, they will ask what is the processor, quad core, octa core, hexa core, whatever. Then they will ask the second question, what is the RAM size? Is it 4 GB, 8 GB or 16 GB? What is the ROM size? So these are the three conditions. You can search in Flipkart, you can search in Amazon. The first three properties of any mobile, they will give only these three. So up to now, we talked about the cores, right? About the microprocessor CPU, that is, we were telling it as octa core, quad core, etc. Then we were talking about the we were talking about this random access memory. We were talking about the one second. We were talking about the random access memory. So random access memory, we are calling it as a main memory, and it is going to be a volatile memory. So it is of 256 MB, it is of 1 GB, 2 GB. So it varies from size to size. So uh, there are two versions, static RAM and dynamic RAM. those concepts are gone. SDRAM, this concept is also gone. Now people are working with dual double rate RAM, DDR RAM. So right now in the market, we are using dual double rate RAM. Just it works more speed when compared to the other, right? So that is the first thing. Now, where are the random access memory slots on the motherboard? So in the beginning of a class, we were talking a motherboard is a board where it is holding up all the components of the computer we called. Now, at this position, we were telling we will put the microprocessor, we will put the CPU, we will clip it. Then above it, we will put the fan. Then what we were telling that there are two types of random access memories. One, we are calling it as synchronous dynamic RAM. Second one, we are going to call it as dual double rate RAM. So this dual double rate RAM is positioned at the blue color clips, and the SDRAM will be clipped into the synchronous dynamic RAM slots. So this is the motherboard. First we are getting the CPU, then we are going to get the RAM. So I was telling that microprocessor is nothing but a CPU with arithmetic logic unit and control unit. So on this chip, we will have only ALU and control unit. So you can see there is a difference between the primary memory, that is the random access memory, and the CPU. Both are separate. Please don't confuse at this point of time. CPU is different, memory is different. Both are not coming together. Fine. Next comes at what speed this dual double rate RAM is going to work, means it is working with 266 megahertz per second. So, and how much speed this synchronous dynamic RAM is going to work, means it is going to work with some 133 megahertz per second. So in this way, the clocking, the synchronization is going to happen. A timing pulses are going to be generated. So that is the reason why using the internet, I am whatever lecturing I am going to have, you are able to listen in your mobile phone or in your laptop or desktop. The reason was the RAM is working, bringing up the data from the internet with a speed of 266 megahertz per second. So for us, 1 second the spending is very minor, but see, it is going to work in micro level, that it is working in megahertz. That's why you are able to have an uninterrupted data transfer between source and destination. Fine. Next comes the word what we are going to look at, the primary and secondary. So at this motherboard point, we were talking CPU position. Then we were talking about the random access positions with the SDRAM and the DDR RAM. Up to now, we have talked. Next thing, we have a memory card to a mobile. Similarly, we will have the C drive, we will have the D drive, we will have E drive, we will have F drive to our uh, we call it as hard disk. So this hard disk we are going to call here as a secondary storage uh, disk, and it can be either inserted in the primary position socket or it can be inserted into the secondary position socket of the motherboard. So it can be inserted to the primary position socket or it can be given to the secondary position of a socket. So then only we will have a C drive, E drive, F drive. So these are the positions where we can have our data. So in our data, we are going to have our Java programs or a Python programs, etc., machine learning programs. Those are stored in your hard disk, but that hard disk has to be brought to the CPU via the random access memory. How is it possible? Means they have to be connected at this point of time. When it is connected to the primary and secondary position, then only it will be able to get the transferring of content. So little bit zoom level for you. So to understand where the clipping will happen, where we can join our uh, the hard disk in the slots. This is the hard disk. So you can, when you are purchasing your laptop, the three configurations I was repeating. When you purchase a laptop, what you will ask was whether it is Core i3, whether it is Core i5, or whether it is Core i7. You will ask. Second, what you will ask is whether it is 8 GB RAM or whether it is 4 GB RAM or whether it is 16 GB RAM. You will ask. Next question, what you will ask when you purchase your laptop was, you will ask whether it is 500 GB hard disk or whether it is 1 terabyte hard disk. You can even verify your hard disk sizes. So how much is the size of your laptop hard disk? Similarly, when you are going to purchase a mobile phone, then you will ask the SD card. The SD card, we are going to call it as a memory card. So how much is the memory card size? Maybe it is of 16 GB, maybe it is of 32 GB, or it is of other sizes. So in this way, the storage capacity will be provided by the hard disk. How is the hard disk maintained? Hard disk is maintained with flip-flops. What are flip-flops? They are going to be J flip-flop, D flip-flop, JK flip-flop, RS flip-flop. So using the flip-flops only, the hard disk was manufactured. So then there is a magnetic material inside it, and this magnetic material is storing all your Python programs, Java programs, or machine learning programs in form of binary number system, that too in zeros and ones. The addresses where we are going to call here, we are going to say it is a secondary memory, or we are going to call it as the secondary addresses at that point of time. So one of the famous vendor who is going to sell the hard disk will be the Seagate. So these are the people who are going to sell, the largest people vendors in giving the hard disk supply. So when you come to your mobile phone, you say Vodafone, Airtel, Reliance Jio, etc. These are the top vendors. Similarly, in hard disk, this people, Seagate people, he is the leader, he is the giant to supply 1 GB, 500 GB hard disks, etc. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Again, to your laptops also, you are going to have the compact disk read-only memory drive, CD-ROM. So this CD stands for the compact disk, and read-only memory, it is, we call it as non-volatile, and obviously the data whatever you are going to be stored, it is going to be permanent. So this is the advantage what you can have it up with your CD drives. So again, there is some violation here. CD drives are also again two types. One, it is CD drive, you can make only a read operation, but when you are going to make CD write, read and write, so there at this point of time you call it as CD writer. So at this CD writer you can make both a read operation or a write operation. So how much speed you are going to make a read, how much speed you are going to write. So you write your Java program or Python program, then you say give the value to compute a prime number. So I will give 5. So then you click enter. So how much it is taking up? It is working with some speed of 52x or 24x or 52x. So that is the speed it is accepting the contents from you. Okay, now let us move to the again to the motherboard. So motherboard is a position where it will take up all the components. It will take up the hard disk, the secondary storage devices, the CPU, etc. into one place so that you can get operated. So obviously this position we are able to link to the CD. Until unless we connect the compact disk to this position there in the motherboard, then only you will be able to bring this CD to the usage, and you can link it with the central processing unit. So again, you need the very first thing, power connector. So you have to supply plus 5 volts to the computer to function up. So this is the position where we are going to give a power supply. Next one, we are going to call it as integrated data environment connector, IDE, integrated data environment. So this is a connector where you are able to have the windows where we will have a graphical user interface. So until unless if you are not using this IDE, we will not be in a position to see the things in a pictorial way. So how we are able to work with the Windows operating system. So in the Ubuntu operating system, these are all provided with a GUI. If not, we have to work from DOS prompt. But that way, it is you will be having IDE connectors, and you will have that visualization part better. And then we are going to have the audio pins. So as you are listening to the class now with your microphones or Bluetooth headset, so the positions where you are going to insert that, we call it as some audio connectors, etc. So next, this is a connector where we are going to have a floppy disk connector. So we talked about the first position CPU, then we talked about the random access memory, then we talked about the hard disk and hard disk, and then we were talking about the compact disk drive, so CD, ROM, etc. Now the floppy disk drive, so this is I'm not talking because it is outdated. Maybe it was in the third generation. So right now, as a species out, in the same way, floppy disks are almost they are not in the market right now. Even the compact disk has been not there, because you can see your laptops also CD drives now. People are not giving you by default. To the older laptops, you will have the CD drives. Right now, the laptops what you are going to use, there won't be any CD drives, because you are now the next generation kids. Now everything you store it in your Google Drive or the Jugbox, etc. So or you are carrying the things in the pen drive, flash drive. So the CD drive and the floppy disks are eliminated, are now not existed. These are all gone. Yeah. Next comes the important thing about cables. Next comes the important thing regarding the cables. So cables, as mentioned, they are able to make data exchange. You are able to make some data exchange. So it is from to and from CPU, memory, and IO devices. So why we are going to use the cables inside a computer? Because we want to exchange the data, which can be addresses, which can be control instructions, which can be memory instructions. All that has to be communicated from one location to another location. So that is the reason why we are going to use the cables at this point of time. Fine. Next one was graphic card. Next one was this element, we are going to call it as a graphic card. Okay, I just want to play PUBG, or I want to use some new game. So right now I am not aware of the new games right now. So if I am able to play these high-end definition games, obviously you need to have a supporting card called as a graphic card. So until unless you have a graphic card, you will not be in a position to play high-end games. Now you can check stickers which are on your laptop, NVDI graphic card. A sticker will be there on your laptop itself. On the foreground, which is towards the left or right side, a sticker will be linked. It will be given Core i3 Intel processor, and then another sticker will be there, Ubuntu operating system or Windows operating system. Another sticker will be there. There you can see NVIDIA graphic card. So these people, they are going to provide a graphic card inside your laptop or inside a desktop, so that you can play games. So if you are having a multimedia games, high-end games, high-definition games, or if you are using a YouTube videos, obviously they have to be played with this graphic card. So until unless we don't have a graphic card to our content, we will not have enough luxury to visualize the things. So graphic card will be connected to the accelerated graphics port. So, and this accelerated graphic port it will work with a speed of some 66 megahertz. So this accelerated graphic card, it will work with a speed of some 66 megahertz. So that is the position where you can see on the motherboard where this graphic card is going to be inserted. So you just memorize the things. After the class, I will ask you what are the positions and where are the positions this will be placed. So randomly. So next one was LAN card. So if you are using your broadband connection and a wire in your house, you can just see one edge of your laptop right now, or the other edge either towards the left or right. You can see a socket where you can plug in to get the internet connection. So if I want to use a broadband or an internet connection with a cable wire, then you need to have a LAN card. So the LAN card you are going to have to your laptop or a desktop computer. Right now you can see towards your left hand side or right hand side, a slot will be there. So the position, you can see how the position will look like. So this is the position where you can get internet, and that internet you can get it via this the local area network card or other cards. So this is the position where if there are 2 or 3 computers in your businesses, in your shops also, 2 or 3 computers will be there, and then you want to connect those 2 or 3 computers in a lab or in your business positions. So you need some local area network. So that local area network is provided by this chip. So this is the chip what you are going to see. So using this chip only, the local area network will be established. So this is the position. I think hope you are able to see to your every laptop will have this, because in when we are asking, did you make your MAC address binding when you come to the lab, the hardware technicians will ask you, have your MAC address binding, etc. You say yes. So obviously this is the position where they are going to bind so that you will get an internet connection. So this is all regarding the LAN connections, etc. Yeah. Next one, communication and network riser. So another component in the motherboard was the communication and network riser. So now you are listening to the class with your Bluetooth headphones. Obviously, Bluetooth, you are not directly connecting with a wire. You are using the communication and network riser via a router. You are able to do it. Similarly, you have a broadband connection. There are 2 types of broadband connections. You can directly link it with a wire. That is the previous LAN example. Second thing, you can get it via a hotspot. So that is how the or which is a component which is asking you to link that position, means that slot you are going to have in your computer was a CNR slot, and this CNR slot, it is going to give you the communication and networking riser. So you will be having all these CNRs or the graphic port components, or this peripheral component interface. So PCI stands for the peripheral component interfaces. So what is peripheral components means? All type of peripherals. Peripherals are nothing but input and output devices. Peripherals are nothing but the input and output devices. So using this input and output devices, you will be able to link up with these slots so that you can exchange information. So this is all regarding the advanced accelerated graphic port, where you are going to make the connections towards the graphic card for gaming. Next thing, you need to have input and output devices which need to be connected via the peripheral component interfaces. So those we are going to call it as PCI slots. Fine. So this is a part which is very, very interesting part, and we call it as basic input output system. Okay, I will switch off my mobile phone. Tomorrow morning, I will switch on my mobile phone. So today is 29th, but tomorrow I'll get the date 30th, and now it is some 11:15. Maybe tomorrow also it shows some 11:20 or like that. How is it possible? So this is the first question, right? I have shut down my, I have switched off my mobile phone. But when I turn on my mobile phone tomorrow morning, why is it not coming 29? Why is not coming yesterday's date? Why is it coming today's date? Who is updating it? Similarly, I shut down my laptop today. Tomorrow, if I am turning on my laptop, updated time, updated date will come. So which is the component which is doing even though I am sleeping? So the component was called as basic input output system. So this is like your brain. It is like your heart. So when we sleep, brain and heart doesn't stop working. So similarly, the basic input output devices is a system which is going to have a battery, and this we are going to call it as read-only memory, ROM chip, and it is going to have the basic infrastructure regarding a battery backup, regarding date and time, and few components regarding the memory chip setup, which should come first. So when you turn on your mobile phone, switch on your mobile phone, first time you will see the Android logo will come. Similarly, when you turn on your desktop or laptop, the first you can see the first bubbling aspect will be the Intel. Then it will ask you press F1 to enter. Then Windows operating system will come. So you are going to have a information of the chipset, what is coming first, what is coming next. So that it is going to be taken up with the a basic input output system. So all the duties, even though you are sleeping, even though you are going to turn off your laptop or switch off your laptop or switch off your mobile phone, next time when you are turning off, you need to get that updated information. That updated information is entirely fabricated in a chip. We call it as basic input output system, BIOS. Yeah. Uh, there is an interconnection between the basic input output system and the battery so this battery power is going to be linked to the BIOS. The battery power, it is going to be linked to the BIOS. So that is the reason why if you switch on your mobile phone, if you shut down your laptop, and after 2 or 3 days if you are opening, that updated time and updated date is coming. So in on behalf of you, you are the owner of your laptop, you are the owner of your desktop, and you purchased the CMOS battery and BIOS. So they feel that it is their duty to help their owner. So they will update their date and time. So that is the reason why this CMOS battery, it is going to maintain a battery backup, and it is going to support the basic input output system, the BIOS. So this is all the components up to now what we are going to discuss. So this is the zoom level what you can see. This is called as a CMOS battery position. So it will be worthing around 50 rupees, etc. So even in your digital watches also, right? You will have a small type of battery where it will low cost, and it gives the appropriate management of time system. So similarly, the same set of battery will be given to the motherboard, and that it is going to constantly help the basic input output devices. Next and foremost important things, there are two components in the motherboard essentially work to integrate with the input output devices. So such component we are going to call it as a north bridge. Another we are going to call it as a south bridge. One component we call it as a north bridge. Another component we are going to call it as a south bridge. The very first component we are going to call it as a north bridge, and this north bridge, it is directly connected to the CPU. So this is the takeaway. It is connected to the CPU. So this is occurring in the center position of the CPU, etc. And this north position, north bridge, it is going to connect to the CPU. So this is the first takeaway. So another bridge is going to be there. We are going to call it as a south bridge, and this south bridge is not connected to the CPU. So this is the first difference you should understand between south bridge and north bridge. In north bridge, all the circuitry are connected to, the random access memory, etc. They are connected to the north bridge, and thereby they are given to the CPU. But as per the South Bridge is concerned, the peripheral devices are connected and then they are connected to the CPU. So just we have an understanding. Now this is the zoom level, a little bit zoom level to look side by side components. So you can see here CPU and North Bridge are there. Now this is a little bit zoom level to understand the difference, how a North Bridge is going to be connected to the CPU and it is going to make an exchange information. It is going to be making an exchange information between the PCs, between the CPU, etc. Yeah. What are the components linked to the North Bridge? So we discussed about this position. We call it as random access memory, that is SDR RAM and DDR RAM. Then you are going to say, I will play PUBG game. So this PUBG game, it needs a graphical port, and that graphical port, it is going to be with the graphical part. So we call it as accelerated graphics port, which we are going to call it as AGPA, and that it is going to be connected. So North Bridge, it is going to connect to the central processing unit, it is going to connect to the motherboard, and it is going to connect to the graphics port. Now let us look into the another word called as South Bridge. So this is the another word called as a South Bridge. So at this position, South Bridge, what it is going to connect. So who are pending here? Input output devices are going to be pending. So to this input output devices, to these input output devices, so we call them as ports. I just mentioned in today's morning class, ports are the positions where we are going to connect the mouse, keyboard, the drawing board. So all these elements, the USB, etc., we are able to connect. But positions we are going to call it as ports. So ports are connected to the central processing unit, and that it is going to be connected via the South Bridge. It is going to be connected via the South Bridge. So you are going to have the peripheral connect interface, and then you are going to have the basic input output system, the read-only memory. Then we are going to have the BIOS, and then we are going to have the hard disk, that is C drive, D drive, E drive, F drive. So all these elements, they are connected with the South Bridge. So this, the previous slide, it shows you the location of the South Bridge on the motherboard. It is beside the battery. So you can see the architecture here. So we have the input devices and output devices which are connected to the ports. Thereby we are going to have the floppy disk, the peripheral component interface slots, and then we are going to have the read-only memory slots, and then the C drive, D drive, E drive, F drive. So the hard disk slots. So to deal with these things, we have the South Bridge. Now I think you should have enough differences between what is North Bridge and what is South Bridge. So in North Bridge, you are able to connect the random access memory, you are able to connect the graphics port, and you are able to connect the central processing unit. So what is South Bridge here? Via this South Bridge, you will be able to connect to the input output devices. We call them the ports, and the peripheral other slots, the read-only memory, and the C drive, D drive, that is the hard disk. So this is regarding the basic differences between the North Bridge and the South Bridge. Fine. Most important thing was it is SMPS. So SMPS, it is going to be a regulatory body which minimizes the supply. So you can see on your house switches, etc., they will write 250 or 240 mAh. So this much power is coming to your socket supply. It has to be converted to plus 5 volts. It has to be converted to plus 5 volts, right? You are going to have your adapter. So you say it your mobile adapter, mobile charger, the pet name of the mobile charger, you call it as a mobile adapter. So this you are connecting directly to the switchboard. To the switchboard, how much current is going to come means it will be 240. If you are pushing 240 current to your mobile phone will be burnt directly. Similarly, 250 volts current, if you are connecting to your laptop or desktop, it will be burnt on that in the next minute. So high power is coming, and that high power has to be neutralized, has to be minimized. So how you are going to do? You are going to have a adapter. So adapter, it is taking 250 volts and it is going to give you only plus 5 volts. Similarly, for a desktop computer, the duty was assigned to a component called as SMPS. So SMPS, it is going to regulate all the flower fluctuations. It is going to all the power way and sees that how much power is necessary for the desktop computer. So that much power only it is going to give. So next comes, these are the different power cables, etc. So you can see how much power it is taking up. It is 12 volts, or how much it is taking up, plus 5 volts, etc. And similarly, as in your home, you have a earth wire. So you have a fuse main wire from the directly from the pole. It will come to your house, and then from the main you will connect to the ground. Similarly, for a computer, for a mobile phone, for a charger, for a mobile phone, for a computer, for a laptop, for a desktop, definitely you should have a ground wire, and that is the position where it is maintaining at this time. So what we will do is we will pause up our discussion at this point of time, and hopefully in the next class we will continue. So we have 99 students